First of all, we have extremely great and super resource people, and it's just going to be really amazing. So just take your time, relax, and enjoy the show. Today, as usual, today we are having introductory sessions. So today we are here to just introduce the program. Prof and our ladies are going to tell us what to expect. And basically that's going to be it. From next week, God willing, we're going to start with the real thing. We'll take topics and then be looking into it. Okay, as usual, as Christians, everything that we do, we need the hand of God in it. So I'll kindly ask Prof to give us a short word of prayer as we start. All right.
Thank you very much, Brother Joshua. Let's pray. Our Father, our Lord, we want to thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for the gift of this new year. We thank you for the opportunities that you have provided us, especially an opportunity like this, not only to reach out to your bride, but to also help them in other aspects of their lives. Father, we're praying, committing this program into your hands, pleading with you that it be a success. Not just today's episode, but all other episodes that we are yet to host. We commit them into your hands. Be the captain, be the producer, be the resource persons, be the host, be the everything. Thank you, knowing that you've done this for us in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. All right, listeners are just tuning in. God bless you wherever you are. Those from the United States, Belgium, we welcome you. Those here in Ghana, God bless you so much for tuning in. This is the Original Word Radio. We are located in Tema, Community 12, right on the premises of the Original Word Ministry. And today is the first program, our maiden program, Counseling R. Okay, Prof.
Yes.
Mind introducing yourself? Tell us a bit about yourself so our listeners will know who they are dealing with.
Okay, I think Prof is I think a term of endearment that is often used with reference to me. But actually, I'm Derek Opong.
Okay.
That's the name, Derek Opong. I am a clinical psychologist. I'm also a lecturer. I run a private psychological services right here in Tema called Human Development Services. What we do is we take care of a wide range of psychological issues. Now, clinical psychology is still a relatively young practice here in Ghana, so well, there are not too many of us are specialized. So what that means is we deal with a wide spectrum of psychological challenges. So you can talk about basic counseling, children with learning challenges, mental retardation. We have people with substance abuse or substance misuse challenges. There's the normal depression, family-related stress, marital stress. We also
marital stress.
Oh yes.
Wow, we are stressing marriage.
Yes, actually, if you look at Ghana, interesting. I think when you look at the statistics as we have it, consistently in Ghana, for instance, when you look at the largest number of cases, psychiatric cases we have in the country, women who report to the clinics, I think the largest single problem is depression. Okay. And depression normally emanating from marital and relationship-based issues. So it's a very, very important thing. That is a very important aspect, especially when you're talking about mental health in Ghana. And so much revolves around marital stress. You can't even treat that in even 3 or 4 sessions.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can talk about finance in marriage. You can talk about challenges in communication. We have what we call affective communication. Okay. You and I can be talking, but we are not talking. Okay. Let me give you a typical example. So if you have a couple where, for instance, every day mommy and daddy come home and they're in the living room, all right, but they spend all the time watching TV. Okay. So if you ask the couple, oh, do you talk? Oh, yes. You hear TV, boom. You know that thing. We all watch TV together, but you are not talking. Okay. Yeah. One, and I know this is going to get me into trouble, but I'll say it. One thing I discourage marital couples from doing a lot: do not keep a TV, for instance, in your bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah, because it actually affects, it actually interferes with that effective communication. Yeah, in the bedroom, instead of you talking to each other, getting to know each other, you're rather watching television or watching programs. So you are talking all right, which is like communication, but it is not effective communication.
Okay.
Because it is that vacuum in the silence that people normally use to bond.
Okay.
And it's not there.
Okay.
So there are so many issues and dimensions to that.
Wow.
Hopefully we'll talk about this as we move along. Yeah.
Wow. I imagine your ears are tickling, our viewers and our listeners. This is going to be extremely interesting. Be rest assured, I wouldn't be the host of this program. We're going to have two hosts for this program, Sister Mavis and Sister Pearl. So every Saturday, God willing, what time does this start, please?
2:30.
2:30. Okay, so we're going to have Sister Pearl and Sister Mavis inboxing you with all their questions and
I did for you.
and it's going to be really interesting, and it's also extremely interactive. Yes, so what we are doing is that all our live programs are extremely interactive. So we have sessions where we have live phone-ins, so people can call in and then ask questions, contribute in whatever way that they want. We also have the opportunity for people to send text messages, WhatsApp messages. You can send even a voice note on WhatsApp, and it will be played live. Yes, so all the opportunities there to make it as interactive as possible. Okay, so my ladies, so far you've been silent. Really, how excited are you about this program? You'll be the host, and from next week, one of you will be sitting in my chair, and one will be sitting next to Prof, and you'll be having a discussion. How do you feel generally about the program? Counseling time.
Okay, very exciting. But I have to say that this is my first time of shifting from my field of study.
Okay.
Because I did engineering.
Okay.
And I'm not a business student. So it's an opportunity for me to learn more about psychology from my prof.
Okay.
And my sister too. I don't know the field of study. So it's a great opportunity for me to.
Okay. So for you, it's more of a challenge in learning.
Yes.
Even as you go on. Wow, that's exciting. Prof, you have a lot on your hands.
That's I think the joy of teachers. So that's what we do.
Wow, stop here.
Well, I think it will be an exciting program. I've been looking forward towards it. This is my first time being a host of a program. I didn't do journalism.
Okay.
It's also a challenge, and when you're faced with a challenge, you have to make the best use of the opportunity. So I'm looking forward to learning myself, because maybe I'm having some problems, and I would also like to counsel for myself.
Yeah.
And I'm also looking forward to the program will help other people. A lot of people out there have a lot of problems. So we hope this program will go a long way to answer a lot of questions.
Yeah. I'm sure among the topics. Okay, so first of all, what audience are we looking at in terms of year range?
Everyone.
Okay.
What I'm hoping we'll do is we wouldn't treat them as textbook issues.
Okay. Okay.
The minute and in fact, the truth is, in practice, there's a saying attributed to a very common, a very popular psychologist called Carl Jung, and he said, when you are in school, study all the psychology. As soon as you finish, when you enter the counseling room, throw it out of the window.
Okay.
Because when people come to you with problems, the problems are not written. They are not written in black and white as you find it in the textbook.
Yeah.
So, but it's also depression. That's kind of boring.
Yeah.
But it's got to make sense to people. People have to be able to relate to it. So what we are hoping to, and I think that's why I'm also going to want to encourage people to send us messages, especially if you are having challenges that you feel. You don't have to give us your name or anything. Just tell us what it is, and we can help you to dissect it and make sense out of it. And in the process, everybody will also benefit. So our real target is everybody, and we're going to be treating topics that everybody can relate to. So when you're talking about a topic like, say, mental retardation, it's not just for the individual who has or who is dealing with mental retardation, but it's to equip everybody else, so that if you see it happening, you can identify it, and then you know what to do about it.
But then just if we to the benefit of our listeners, I talk about mental retardation. Those who have mental issues, are they not already in the bush and the psychiatric hospitals?
No.
So why is it? Are we dealing with it as a preventive something, or like really?
You're not dealing with it as preventive. I think you're dealing with it first with an aim to understanding people. And let me say this: we are not going to be dealing. Well, fine. We don't. I don't think we're going to be looking at, if you like, the clinically significant issues. In terms of, this is what you'll find if you go to the psychiatric facility. No, we are talking about the everyday challenges that people meet on a day-to-day basis.
What psychological
challenges will confront you. And to answer your question, no, a significant number of mental issues are not in the hospital. They're actually all around us. The person in the church sitting next to you, the brother sitting next to you in church.
Mental.
Yes, we all have different challenges.
Wow.
The ones you normally see in the hospitals and in the bushes are what is commonly referred to as schizophrenia. And on the spectrum of mental disorders, that is just one. That is just one. We have tens and different types. Even within the range of schizophrenia, you have different types of schizophrenia. We have what we call schizophreniform. We have a personality disorder called schizoid. We have schizoaffective. So no, it's just one.
Just one
what you
of
see
the lot.
Is just one.
Wow.
Yeah. There are different types.
Wow.
And it's not even, frankly, in my books, it's one of the more serious ones in terms of what it does to you. But there are others that also need a lot more attention that we are not paying attention to.
Okay.
So,
wow.
That's it.
All right. So you spoke about issues in marriage. Now, are we going to talk about relationships? With the youth. What do you? Okay. So before I just jump into it, let me ask this broad question. So what should our listeners and viewers expect in terms of the content? What kind of topics are we looking at before I go specific into the ones I'm interested in?
We have a range of topics. At least we have a number of topics we're gonna, and yes, we'll be dealing with relationships. I know everybody wants to hear, so we'll be talking about relationships.
Fairly smiling.
We'll be talking about relationships. And when we get there, we shall have some brutally frank conversations.
Wow, I like that.
We'll be talking about them. We shall have some, I want to emphasize that word, brutally frank conversations. We will talk about that.
Wow.
I know a lot of people want to hear, so we will talk about that. But beyond relationships, I think there are other things that are related to relationships that we don't seem to pay enough attention to. For instance, depression, especially among adolescents.
Depression in adolescents.
Yes, feelings of loneliness and isolation. So and its impact on them. For instance, teenage girls. And that sense of loneliness. You're talking about relationships. You realize that I try to maybe I've dealt so much with relationships that now for me it's a tired horse. But let's look at, for instance, teenage girls. What are the factors that, for instance, drive teenage girls into the hands of exploitative men?
Okay.
Is it just money? No. Sometimes there can be factors at home
Okay.
that drive them into these things. You can have a girl who looks like she has everything. You understand? Oh, daddy gives her the money, she pays the school fees. He's even probably giving her a car. But there is this vacuum in the person's heart.
Okay.
What causes it? You understand? And for me, there are those issues as well, which I know we're tied to relationships. But
okay.
I know everybody's into so we'll talk about all of those. We'll talk about all of those.
You know, that's more of like a gray area, especially in the message.
I know.
Yeah, because first of all,
it's like a taboo topic.
Exactly. And we want to kind of demystify it. You know,
you want to get me into big trouble. I feel like I'm gonna have. Well, let's see. We'll go there. We'll see how it goes.
Well, you got to be the house of Sister Pearl and Star Baby, so it's really once in a while I'm going to come in. But
what I want to do, what I want to do is I want to encourage people having the issues to keep communicating. As a psychologist, we tend to be more responsive in our training.
Okay.
What that means is we don't try to think for people.
Okay.
You have to come to us with issues. That's why I want to take this advantage to really encourage people. If there are issues bothering you, if you even want to be anonymous, don't worry. Just when you send the mail, tell us. Please don't mention my name, or I don't even want it to be known that I'm in this congregation or I'm in this town. But please, this is the issue that I'm facing, and we will respect that privacy. But once, I'm also interested in a trend analysis. For me, as a researcher, it's also very, very important. So that we know the issues that are going on, and I'm sure it will even help the ministry as well, so that people know the things that are cropping up. So I want to encourage people, send us your messages, and when we see when we see the trends, it will help the patterns. It will help us to be able to know, I think, what we should be responding to better. So right from day one, I want to encourage people. Just because we haven't spoken about your issue, you'll be surprised. Maybe there are some really big issues out there that nobody has even set their mind to.
Yeah, that's true.
You understand? We're talking about relationships. How about post-marital issues? You understand? How about post-marital issues? Okay, the message, I've been married for 20 years, but this is the issue. If you have enough people share that concern, then we know that it is an issue that has to be addressed.
Then we deal with it.
Yeah, that's what I want to encourage.
Wow. You know, I was talking to one young lady, I think just yesterday, and I think she's in GHS 1, and she in the house, she lives with the grandparents actually, and she's like, she has younger ones, way younger than her, and she's around 13, 14, and then she asked me, okay, so how is it that I'm not allowed to go out and play like my friends? How is it that I'm alone in the house and there's no one to talk to? Even the brothers in the church, I'm not allowed to go and visit them or spend time with them. I'm alone after school. I come, it's me and my books. There's nothing really for me. Like, how do you do with something like that?
You've already started. Well, that's an issue of childcare, child rearing, if you like. The first thing is, I'll tell you what, we have different types of parenting style. If you read the textbooks, we have what we call the permissive parenting style. We have the authoritative. We have the authoritarian. But the most dangerous parenting style is what is called the conflicting parenting style.
Okay.
Mommy says, well, you can sleep at 8 o'clock. Mommy says you have to sleep at 8 o'clock. And daddy says, well, today is a Friday, so you can stay up till 10. So the minute you have mommy saying one thing different and daddy saying one thing different, then the child now begins to feel that, well, this parent loves me more than the other. And this parent has a certain ulterior agenda against me. And when that begins to happen, then the child starts being selective about the parent that they want to be with.
Okay.
So in dealing with an issue like this, what needs to happen is that first of all, the two parents must be in agreement as to what rules you want to set up in the house. Okay, so if you're saying that after 10 o'clock, when the child comes home from school, she shouldn't go out, then what needs to happen is that both parents or all the authorities in the house, they need to be in agreement that this is the rule. Once you come back from school, you don't go out. So that is clear that in this house where both my parents live, this is the rule. But beyond that, the child, as they get older, it's not just enough to give the instructions, obey me.
Okay.
No, the child also needs to understand why.
The reason.
Why exactly. And even though it may not make sense initially, they have to, at least there has to be a certain attempt on the part of the parents to make the child understand that these are the reasons why.
But Prof,
yes.
Not to cut you, but in this our world, like in African setting, in a typical African home, is it really? Do we have that situation where children are made to understand things? It's like the parents have said it, so that is fine now. I don't know about the sisters. Like, do we have that setting where, like, let's say in the Western world, where parents will want to, make children understand, their children understand issues. Like, okay, I want you to, when you come home, I want you to sleep at 10 or at 8, and that is fine now. We didn't have the opportunity to, I don't think there's not really the opportunity to ask questions or the opportunity, to interrogate issues and all that. Does that really happen?
It's changing. Some time ago, yes. In today's world, and some time ago, no. In today's world, yes. We are also improving with technology and education and knowledge. It's also changing.
Okay.
And what, like I said earlier, what needs to happen is you can only give instructions up to a certain point. But like it or not, the child gets older and then they start asking questions. And if they are not satisfied with the questions, with the answers that they are getting, sooner or later they will rebel. But if your reasons make sense, and at a point the child has to agree that, sometimes you can even give a child a reason. The child will say, well, your rule is harsh. Okay? A child may say, well, your rule is harsh, but I understand it's beneficial for me. Let me give you one example straight from the Bible. When Jesus called out, when God called out his people, the Israelites, right from day one, he made it clear that he didn't want them marrying from any of the outside tribes. Yeah. And actually, come to think of it, that must have been hard.
Extremely.
On some of the guys.
We are told the ladies that were fair.
You understand?
Fair to behold.
Let's be frank, it's not easy.
Absolutely.
You understand? And
just like we are in the message section. You are touched.
Control. You understand? But it's hard. But at a certain point, in as much as you have to admit that law is hard, you can't run away from the fact that it protects me. You understand? Not all laws are meant to be easy. Not all laws are easy to be obeyed. Okay. But the aim, the idea behind rules is to protect. They protect you, the person. They protect everybody. If a law fails to protect everybody, then you have a problem. And these are one of those rules. So if parents are making those rules where they feel that those laws are there to protect the child, it shouldn't be too difficult to explain it to the child. They may not understand it, but that doesn't make the law any less important. And of course, most of the time, as the child begins to grow, when the child has the requisite skill set to be able to manage themselves better, it becomes a little bit easier for them to,
appreciate some of this.
To appreciate it, and then you can start giving them a little bit of latitude.
Okay, so this is Original Word Radio. We'll be going on a very quick break. This is just by way of a teaser. I essentially just brought this in to let you have an idea of what is going to be. Like our sisters have been quiet for so far.
We need to hear their voice.
We need to hear your voice. Please tell us something before I go on break. Say something. Our sisters.
You are the advocates of our other sisters and brethren here.
Oh, yes. Okay. So while they're thinking of what to say, I'm going to go on a break. And when we come back, I'm going to start with our sisters. Please stay tuned. This is the you have to be spontaneous.
You have to be spontaneous. I hope this is not on. Don't worry, you'll get the hang of it. This is your first dish. You'll get the hang of it.
But now, I'm expecting you guys to be. I'm going to, this time, I'm going to stop talking.
I think today we are going freestyle. So
yeah, today's freestyle.
If you have any issues, I mean, normally when you sit, I didn't want to talk about relationships, but he's been on my case. So today he has gotten me. But ask Benjamin on this one.
This is one of the programs that I really wish that I made a like.
Oh, you can. That's a producer. You can always.
Like so many, especially this really look for me. Maybe our sisters here. So, but then, so right now, you ask the questions like this time.
Any issues that are.
Ask the question. We just want to give them a teaser for them to know what to expect. You know. All services are also okay, so maybe we can start looking at some of the specific topics.
Some of the
specific topics will be treated. Yes, but so we can be introducing the topics one by one. So let's say one of you can ask. So what are the
eyes of understanding he has.
Yes, so you are listening to the. Okay, so you are welcome back. This is the counseling time. It's been really interesting, and trust me, this if the teaser, the intro is like this. Like I imagine what the real thing is when we really sit down. We are taking topics to look at. You can imagine how really it is. For me, I'm already excited. I just can't wait for next week to start so that we start the ball rolling. This is one of the programs that personally I know I'm not going to miss for anything. Yeah, getting prof to talk to really is a blessing, and I want to make the best use of that. Okay, so I said we're coming to our sisters. All right, so our host from this week, our host, Sister Pearl, Sister Babies. Okay, so now over to you.
Okay, I think our viewers and listeners should be expecting more from us, especially having our prof here. We have a list of topics for discussion, and I'm going to share that with you. Okay, we have mental retardation 1 and 2. We have learning and development delays, also 1 and 2.
Okay, so while we go through the topics, is it possible, Prof, for you to just expatiate a bit on them individually so that our viewers will have an idea of what we mean?
Okay, I think we've already spoken briefly about mental retardation. But,
okay.
Learning and mental and developmental disease is another very common issue here in Ghana. You know, you have a situation where sometimes a parent comes to you in the clinic and goes like, "Oh, I don't think my child is me bana bon, you know, my child is dull, my child is not doing well academically," and then you go like, "Okay, why are you saying that?" Oh, excuse me, he's always ninth in class or 15th in class. Meanwhile, the older brother or the younger brother is always the third or the fourth.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, it's a very common issue where people.
If I may ask,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Is it not more of biological? If you say your child is dumb or something, if the parents are smart, if the parents are dumb, it will run through.
There's a genetic argument. In fact, we'll even be talking more about that when we start looking at mental retardation.
Okay.
I'm going to be getting into a lot of trouble. Genetics plays a very important role.
Okay.
There's a
in terms of smartness.
Yes.
Okay.
It's actually inherited.
Whoa.
Yes. There's a strong element of heredity.
Okay.
And there is. I'll go further, but I will not tell you.
Okay.
There is one gender that plays a stronger role in determining an individual's intelligence.
Okay.
Between men and women, there is one gender.
Wow.
The stronger that gender is, the more, the smarter that particular parent is, the smarter your life is. But I know when you talk, we'll go there in a minute. You know, that's why you realize I'm being a little bit measured, because some of the things we share potentially have an impact.
Yeah.
So allow.
Yeah,
but you're right.
get you.
You're perfectly right, Mr. Mavis. Yes. What question? Genetics plays a role. So intelligence, to a large extent, is inherited, but it is not the only thing.
Okay.
Apart from the environment, also plays a key role.
Okay.
Remember that advert they used to show on TV? It pays to wait. Check the feeling.
Yeah.
So true. As an individual, you have very little control over your genetics. Whatever God gave you, whatever you were born with, you have very little control about it. But when it's time to start having children, and you want to start having children, there are environmental factors that actually play a very important role in determining how smart. In fact, not just how smart, but even what type of smartness the child is going to have.
Wow.
So yes, we're talking about food and nutrition, medicines, access to medicines, specific illnesses that must be avoided.
Okay.
All right, all of these things even before the baby is born.
Whoa.
And then after the baby is born, the things that happen to the child, at least for the first 6 to 7 years.
Okay.
Critical.
Wow.
So I normally tell people, if you get the first 6, 7 years right, if you like, take the child to Saito. Take the child to Saito. If they'll do well, they'll do well.
Wow.
Or sometimes, okay, I was gonna you know, but really that's it. So the genetics plays a key role, but there are also environmental factors that are involved. The type of diets, the places they sleep, your ability to avoid certain illnesses, exposure.
Yeah.
Exposure. The brain, people must not lose track of this. The brain is a muscle. And so the more you exercise, like any muscle, the more you exercise it, stronger it gets.
Okay.
You know, so, and all of those are environmental factors. So there is the genetics heredity part, and then there's the environmental part. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we are going to be looking at all these things.
Look at all
yeah.
of them.
Wow.
We'll expand on all of those.
Wow.
So that at least for those couples who are expecting, and even for those who are hoping to get their kids a little push to make them smarter, we'll do that. We'll be talking about all of those things. Give them a little advantage. And sometimes that little advantage, it can be very, very critical. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll be looking at all of those things.
Okay.
And then we'll also understand why, forgive me, touch wood, as they say it. You can have kids who come from very, very wealthy backgrounds, but academically, it's just not happening. We'll also be talking about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sister Wavis, what other topics do we have?
Inferiority complex.
That's also tied in with what I was saying earlier on about sometimes having, you know, adolescents and younger people who you know, maybe feeling lonely, etc. But inferiority complex is a key thing because it manifests in different ways at different points in our life. You know, you can have you can have the class 6 child who, because they answer the question wrongly, you know, begin to feel that academically they are not clever, and so as a result of that, they begin to lose an interest in school, which in turn pushes them into truancy, which then pushes them to accepting, should I say, a group of less ambitious individuals, and then they begin to start absorbing all manner of bad habits, and they stay there.
Okay.
And then that's it. They feel, yeah, this is the best I can be. I'm an unworthy individual. So inferiority complex sometimes pushes people into places that they shouldn't be.
Okay.
So it's a lot bigger than we do. Inferiority complex pushes people to seek self-acceptance even in places where they really don't need it. And it happens a lot of the time because as individuals, we don't see our own self-value.
Okay.
And so it can get you into places, it can get you into all manner of trouble. Things you shouldn't be doing because you have the inferiority complex, you end up doing it.
Oh, okay. Which of the genders is it more prominent in?
I would say I'll say it's actually common with both genders,
Okay.
but it manifests in different ways.
Okay.
So, for instance, with men, especially adolescents and the tweens, you know, the early 20s, thereabouts, it will typically manifest itself as a form of aggression.
Okay.
Okay, Charlie, you know who I be, you know be my level, you know, that sort of thing. Shoulder swinging.
Okay.
You understand? And it's like they need to be accepted. Why you they pass, you know, they greet, and that sort of thing. You know,
Okay.
you always need, you know, that level of acceptance, or you feel the only way you're going to get people to validate you is by being aggressive.
Okay.
And then sometimes too, it can also lead you to start moving with bad company.
Okay.
In the case of women, inferiority complex, like I said, can push them into it can push them into depression. Oh, I only have one good dress to come to church. So Sunday I came with last Sunday I came with the same dress. This Sunday I came with the next dress. The next Sunday I came with the next dress, and it's like every dress until everybody knows that this is the only dress you have. Now, if you're not an emotionally strong person, that right there can lead you to start chasing men or start opening yourself up to other men or anything else, and then before you realize it, you are in all types of trouble.
Prof, let me ask you this question. And when it comes to the message, the youth in the message, okay, we know that the nature of the message that we have makes us to live a very peculiar life, which is the life of Christ. Now, this is not a life that is universally accepted. So in most cases, message believers are unique wherever they go. Now, the issue of uniqueness usually doesn't lead to acceptance. Our form of uniqueness doesn't usually lead to acceptance. So you have a sister that hasn't pierced the ear, has a natural hair, is always wearing the long dress and covers herself, and she's not accepted socially among her peers. So she's always she's being teased, battered, she's colo and those kind of stuff. You have a brother that is in the university and still a virgin, doesn't move with girls, and all his roommates have girlfriends, and he's like, you be John boy, or those kind of stuff. Now, is it that brethren, the youth in the message, they need some form of psychological coaching or some form of advanced tutoring or something to equip them? Because you realize that we have situations where young guys, they are doing pretty well spiritually and all that. They go to school and then they go and mess up, and they're not able to handle that pressure. Is it that they need advanced training of some sort to be able to prepare them for this battering and isolation and uniqueness that they will expect in the world? As a psychologist, what's your take on that?
They need to understand why they are where they are. Until you understand, I'll say this, a lot of my mates, all right, who I grew up with in the church, a large number of them have left. A number have stayed.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what I think has made the difference. The difference is you need to understand why you believe what you believe.
Okay.
Okay, you may be the most aggressive, outgoing, assertive person, but if you don't understand what you believe in, you can't defend it.
Okay.
That for me, that's the key thing. So you can have somebody who comes to church all the time, prays all the time, is all over the place, but do you understand? Allow me to digress a little.
All right.
Many years ago, I was outside. I went outside on holidays, and this may sound racial, but forgive me, especially to our audience outside. And I remember I was on a job when this was when text messages had just came on.
Okay.
And I remember I was having a chat with a friend in Ghana. We're exchanging messages via text. And then my boss looks at me and goes like, "Oh, Derek, who are you chatting with? Your girlfriend?" I said, "Oh no, my best friend back home in Ghana." And then another work colleague and he's white, just jumps on me. "As for you Africans, I don't understand you. You are always having children left, right, center. All you guys know how to do is give birth, give birth, give birth. Look at countries like Ethiopia and the rest, where you guys are starving, and still are, even those countries where people are giving birth." Now, if he had made that statement about 2-3 years earlier, I would have jumped on him and I would have gotten angry, labeled him a racist, and I would have walked away. But
Okay.
no, unfortunately for him, I was a psychology level 300, level 400 student. I had learned too much about human behavior to be moved by those sorts of things.
Okay.
So I just kept quiet, allowed him to finish talking. I said, "Sit down and let me talk to you." And then I now began to explain to him those dimensions of African belief systems that account for why we tend to have large families. Oh, and by the way, the role of Europe in actually arming African countries. And by the time you are finished, they may say it behind your back, but not to your face. So the key to some of these things is when you begin to understand it,
you definitely come back.
Yeah.
You definitely come back. All right.
The difference is inferiority from low self-esteem.
We do. But if you have low self-esteem, it will most probably affect you in certain areas of your life. Okay, so for instance, you can be a very, very intelligent person. Okay, you can be very, very smart. But when you go to a meeting, and then if you're like me, and you go to a meeting where you meet a lot of profs, and when I say profs, I mean the big profs. We are nowhere near that. And then people start throwing out the CVs. You understand? BSc, BSc, MSc, MPhil, PhD, CGBT, QR, and they're like, no. One of my profs, when he writes down, he just passed on last year, Professor Danko of blessed memory, my mentor. When he writes his initials, they actually occupy 2 lines.
Whoa.
Yeah, when he writes, not his name, the name is 1 line, and then under it begins to write down the code. It occupies 2 lines. And who are you? But, a low self-esteem is easy to develop. It's easy to work. And there are a lot of issues to this. You know, some people, it's kind of trendy, if you like. It's almost kind of nice to you for a person to boast that, "Oh, as for me, I don't sleep." You understand? Or maybe I'm in Dakar. You know, there are some people, Charlie, me, I know they sleep. That has actually shown us, believe it or not, people who sleep more are actually more creative.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sleep is very important for a number of reasons. The most creative individuals are actually people who sleep more. You can have somebody who works very hard, and since we're talking about that, let me also emphasize this. There's a big difference 10 days a week, longer person, but are you a smart working person? So at a point, we need to also make the distinction between the two. People work hard and they receive something small. People work smart, and what that means is the minimum output, Charlie, they are getting maximum results. And you know, one of the things we know is that sleep plays a key role. People who sleep better, and it's not a matter of how long you sleep. It's an issue of the quality of the sleep. All right, people who enjoy better quality sleep are actually able to be more creative. They are more productive, and they give you better results on the job. So we need to talk about how to sleep.
Okay.
Okay, it's a very, very important
How to
thing
get a
that-
quality sleep
how
and
to
all
get a
that.
quality
Wow.
sleep so you
Wow.
can get that you can get the
Wow.
maximum results.
Wow.
Yeah, it's one of those things a lot of people
Yeah.
tend to ignore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, stop me.
Okay, dealing with drugs and other forms of addiction.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Time management.
Time
and
management.
The last one is work-life balance.
Work-life balance. Wow.
So you realize that as we are moving on, we are bringing the topics closer and closer home.
Yeah.
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 And you realize we spoke about dealing with drugs and other forms of addiction. I know, because when people in the message, when we say, oh, drugs, somebody will say, oh, but we don't do drugs here. Not true.
Oh, really?
Not true. A lot of people are actually on drugs.
Prof.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
We
So
def-
maybe you might want to define the
Yeah,
drugs.
that's what I was going to do. We define
Alright.
a drug as any substance which, when ingested into the body, alters the function of the body.
Okay.
All right? So anything which, when you consume, when you take it in, it changes the way your body works. It is a drug.
Okay. So if I'm in pain and I take in paracetamol,
It is a
and
drug.
then
Because it has altered, it has stopped your body, it has stopped the pain receptors from receiving the pain messages that are supposed to be giving you the pain. So it is a
But
drug.
Prof, the pain it has changed when it comes to the sickness. Let's say the headache. It has changed from the normal state, and now the person is sick. So taking the drug corrects it back to its normal. Right?
Yeah.
Not always. Not always. Not always. So for instance, if you have a particular type of problem and you are in pain, sometimes pain is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
There's actually the body's way of making you know that there is a problem.
Problem somewhere.
So sometimes you go and take the pain. I'm not saying don't, but I'm saying it's a drug. All right. So you take the painkiller, and then the painkiller stops the drug, and then wrongly you assume that, oh, I'm fine.
You're fine.
Until the next time the pain comes again, and then what you do, you go and take the painkiller, but you haven't dealt with the real problem.
Like root problem.
That is one. And anyway, those are the licensed drugs.
Yeah.
But we also have other things that change the body's workings that we are not even aware.
Tramadol.
Oh, tramadol is actually a medical drug that unfortunately is being abused, but it's a drug that doctors do prescribe. So
Yeah.
But no, I'll tell you one. Coffee,
Okay.
Coke.
Coke. If you say Coke, there is like you've arrested some of us.
Yes, like and I know, because like I said, a lot of people wrongly assume that, oh, as for me, I don't do weed, I don't do cocaine,
Yeah,
I don't
do tramadol.
I don't do tramadol, so I'm not on drugs. But let's do it like this. Can you go for 3 days without a bottle of Coke?
Okay.
If
So,
no, then we have a
then you have
problem.
a problem. Then you're addicted.
You see, and a lot of people don't seem to realize this. Let me. It looks like we are going to. Typically, some people wake up in the morning, and they wake up feeling dull and sluggish and all that. So they take in certain substances to boost their energy. Oh,
Yeah.
I need energy to
Energy
move around.
drink and
So they
stuff.
drink coffee, they drink energy drinks, which gives them the zest, the whatever, to
Yeah.
run all over the place.
Yeah.
Then at night, when it's time for them to sleep, they cannot sleep.
Yeah.
And so what do? And these things we've spoken about are what we call stimulants.
Stimulants,
all right?
yeah.
They're the ones that arouse the nervous system. When it's time for them to sleep, they can't sleep because they still have a lot of high energy.
Yeah.
So what happens? They need a depressant, which is actually what slows down the
Slow you
body's
down.
nervous system. And the number one depressant in the world is alcohol.
Okay.
Oh, so I don't drink alcohol to get drunk. I just need small to sleep. And believe it or not, without that, they can't sleep. So he keeps a little shot of whiskey B under his table. And literally, if he doesn't take it, he can't sleep.
But then, Prof, are these issues that you expect in the message? Well, we are talking about the message. And the message, we know that you are not supposed to take alcohol.
Don't presume
You are
for
not
everybody.
supposed to.
Don't presume for like I'm saying, don't presume for everybody.
Okay.
You understand? Don't presume for everybody. When and that's why we call it drugs and other substances. So we're going to look at it. What are some of the things that people are even addicted to without realizing it? You
the
understand?
coffees and
The
all those
coffees,
kind of stuff.
the sugar,
Yeah.
the sugars. You understand? All right. Chocolates.
The sisters.
Oh.
I haven't called anybody.
But we know that the sisters are like chocolates.
I mean, I know a few people who probably drink like 4 or 5 fizzy drinks a day, and yet will not even drink a single sachet of water.
Oh.
You understand? And even that in itself is also a little bit problematic.
That's one issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
But ultimately, I'm sure there are perhaps more significant concerns. I think our doors should be open, and we're happy to respond.
Yeah. All right. So, wow, it has been extremely interesting for me. I've just been enjoying myself all along, and we've just done 1 hour. We've just done 1 hour. Wow. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up now. Today, what I intended to do was for us to just touch on a bit of everything, to give people the feeling, to let people know what to expect. Yes. So I hope that you are enthused as I am. I hope you are excited as I am, and as we are. And we look forward. We really, really look forward to having your company every Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Ghana time or 14:30 GMT. We can't wait to have you interact with you. As I said, this is going to be an extremely interactive session. From next week, you have the chance to call in, ask Prof questions. You can send in your suggestions. You can send in your comments. You can even send voice notes on WhatsApp. We are going to read them. Like we're doing everything possible to have you on board. So it's not like an isolated something that we're doing. As Prof mentioned earlier on, along the line, if you have a topic that you want us to, or you have an issue that you want us to discuss, we'll give you the opportunity to send that to us. If you want to stay anonymous, we'll easily take care of that. We're going to talk about the issues without mentioning names, without revealing your identity. And you may never know your issue that you might bring in. You might have other people also in that same situation, but they also they wouldn't have that courage to come out like you have. So if you have any particular issues you want us to talk about, please don't be shy. Let us have it. We'll give you the contacts and everything from next week, and we are going to look at it. Prof, any last words?
I think you actually said it for me, so I want to thank everybody.
At last, and sweet victory is ours, who were chained down in the past. True jubilee has sounded, and we have responded to our God, who's the original life, the original life, the original seed, the original word. Praise God is what I believe. The Son of Man, the seventh seal is unveiled. The original seed. We are called unto adoption, full authority and power. Sleeping saints will wake and join us. Hallelujah, glory, hallelujah. The original life. The original word is what I believe. The Son of Man. The original seed. Hallelujah. God's attributes were manifested to his bride in this last day. We have caught the revelation by the last prophet's message, and we know who we are and what we're
as the time passes. Then when we come back, 5:30 will be live again, and we'll be live. So please, we want to have you again. So from all of us, this is counseling time. We say goodbye and shalom.
Scripture say